Okay, at this point, I just threw the GPU on a max, like, clock of 80%. I don't know what the max is, probably around 2000 gigahertz or whatever, 2000 megahertz. Yeah, it's pretty low. I undervolted to like 90%. If that doesn't solve it, then I don't know.
Well now, Rover!
The other bloom bears are
Okay, we've already watched most of this. I think it's still on the other recording, which is good, so I'm just going to get back to the part where I was at. I'm not going to hit the skip, because I don't know if there's more after that, but I am going to, like, just kind of speed through it. It's a good scene. It's a good scene. You know, the classic send-off.
This might, that's a shame.
It would throw, and still, honestly, luckily...
I will say, though, watching them all stand there, my first thought really was, this really is gathering wives, huh?
Well, we had to make it...
Okay, and then I was wondering when that, like, black
like
blip happened, what it was. It looks like they tried to more seamlessly transition between dialogue cutscene and rendered cutscene.
I do hope you... Then it's settled. If you dare.
Yep. Okay, there it is.
But for now, it looks like it's time for goodbyes. At least for now.
The Order will soon elect a new Primus. From now on, Raguna's affairs will no longer be decided by the Order alone. Instead, the Montelli and Phasalia families will help to guide decisions, together with the voice of the people.
We will begin addressing the wrongs the Order has committed. Raguna's future belongs in the hands of its people. It will be led by their shared will.
Our family will also continue expanding Renacita's overseas trade routes. Perhaps one day we'll cross paths again in a distant land.
And should you ever return to Renacita, know this. You will always be our most honored guest and dearest friend.
Not just us, but these little echoes too. We'll hold this bond close. Always.
If you ever visit any fascinating places, promise you'll tell me all about it. I'll turn your adventures into verse and have them sung across Renacita.
Rover, remember not to overdo it. Eat when you're supposed to. And don't forget, life is meant to be enjoyed.
To meet and to part is a part of life. So please accept this blessing I offer in my own name. May your eyes always shine bright with clarity, and may love and light guide you on every step of your journey.
This wide, free world has always been your stage. Wherever you go, I believe you'll always shine as its brightest star.
See, Augusta? Told you we'd make it in time. Septimont's mess is mostly sorted now.
Next time we meet, you'll be...
Your strength comes from deep. Fighting by this world.
And don't go forgetting us either.
It's Cetus the Tidebreaker.
Maybe it's more than just a farewell. I think the time...
Alright, I think we're getting close to where I left off before, you know, the game crashed again. So, we'll see.
Till we meet again.
Till we meet again, Rover.
How's everything going?
Good news and bad. The Threnodian's gem has been successfully contained. Tethys is already running a full power analysis as we speak. However, the gem we've recovered was incomplete.
The Fraxidus again?
We're still investigating the cause. But look, successfully containing a gem infused with the Threnodian's power? No small feat. It's already a huge step forward in our fight against the Threnodian and the Lament. If the Threnodian is truly bound to civilization, who's to say another one won't return to Rinasita in some new form? Still, even if that happens, it won't be reclaiming this piece of its power. That gives us a window to prepare. Rinasita, the land of echoes. If tacit discords can be manually converted into echoes and become tools to fight the Lament, then maybe the Threnodian might also be something we could transform. Heck, maybe even utilize. But that's all theorizing best kept to caffeinated hours. For now, we'll need to wait until Tethys completes its analysis before drawing any conclusions.
Well, I'm glad it helped. I'll be on my way then.
Hey, Rover. She's got real skill. Moves like she's already part of our rhythm. This kind of synergy doesn't come knocking twice. What do you say?
Everyone in the Black Shores has made it their mission to stand against the Lament. Our goals are the same, and we've been walking the same path from the start. I know you're not the type who likes being tied down by titles, but just remember this. You're not fighting it alone. So...
Take your time to consider this offer.
This flower marks you as one of us. Whether you join us or not, if you ever run into trouble out there, the Black Shores will have your back.
I see. I'll take it then. Oh, one more thing. My last terminal gave out after I used it too much. Think the Black Shores could lend me a new one?
You heard her, Alto.
Lend? Please. You break it, you come get a new one.
Thanks. Well then, till next time.
Did you forget that promise we made?
Angel. That's my real name.
Angel? Huh. Such a beautiful name.
Hold on a sec. You're not planning to jump into the sea, are you? I could get you a boat!
Your boat is, well, not very durable.
Don't worry about her. Nothing's stopping that one. No storm, and no raging sea.
You do love to make a person wait, don't you? Still, breaking me out right under Mingting's nose without setting off a single alarm. Delicious. Tell me, how did you come up with that little idea?
Let's just say it was inspired by the Somme Noir. Imagination, after all, remains humanity's sharpest blade.
As the dark tide spread and I was pulled in deeper, the mark of the dark tide you left in me allowed my frequency to merge with it.
Of course. And through Leviathan's power, I was able to read that frequency and depict you back into reality. Leviathan's power of assimilation blurs the line between imagination and existence, turning fiction into fact. But of course, none of it would have worked until Leviathan slipped the Sentinel's leash and reclaimed the reins of the Dark Tide.
It cost more time than I'd have liked, but everything unfolded exactly as you scripted. Such precision, such devotion. Bravo.
A trial, nothing less. Civilization's infancy must come to an end. So long as humanity remains cradled in the Sentinel's arms, it will never walk, let alone evolve. That is why I wrote this final act. And those who cannot transcend their limits and overcome their lesser natures will remain imprisoned by their own making. Well, such souls deserve no salvation.
No souls deserve salvation. Why even try? This world was born from chaos and exists in disorder. The only winning move is to be worse, wilder, to out-chaos the chaos. Every noble act of salvation only makes chaos hungrier. You want to destroy to save, but me? I want to save to destroy.
You sound disappointed in how this story ends.
Did I say that? Your stories have always been a treat. Screaming crowds drowning in despair, a world tearing at the seams. Every collapse, every unraveling. Chef's kiss. If they cannot overcome the pain, then let them fall straight into the ending I want. An eternity of chaos and suffering. That's why I chose to work with you, dear playwright. Speaking of which, quill-bearer who toys with hearts, your sins weigh as heavy as mine. Tell me, where will your ending play out?
It has already been written into the script. But until I reach it, as long as breath remains in me, I will haunt the stage like a phantom. A reminder that one must always look forward. Sharpen thyself and temper thy soul.
Oh, Rover wasn't wrong about you. You really are a cruel, extreme man. Sometimes I think you might be even more insane than I am.
Insanity, reason, or something in between. All our choices born of free will, and only through free will can we defy the surging tides of fate. That is why we both seek to change it. For beneath such tides, no one is content to remain merely a humble servant.
You lost the gem I entrusted to you, Christopher.
Forgive me, but haven't we already seized what we truly desired? You see, even the beyond forged from Leviathan's power couldn't endure. It fell short of the perfection you long for. But if you wish to try again, I remain at your service.
Tell me, how much of it remains within you?
Not much, but enough to make use of.
I fulfilled my promise to complete your finale. Let this be the last note of our symphony.
As you wish. My sincerest gratitude for your wonderful performance, Lady Frolova. May you find the strength to create the beyond you once envisioned.
If this world truly cannot change, perhaps I will seek a new path for myself.
Huh. Would have thought someone as stubborn as she would learn to adapt. But, Grand Architect, are you really going to let her walk off and do as she pleases?
Of all of us, you are the last one with any right to judge her for following her whims.
Judge? You wound me. I'm far more faithful to my indulgences than she ever was. No. I just want to tag along and add a few more flourishes to her symphony.
There are still greater matters that demand your attention. Though our roads diverge, our ideals remain as one. In the end, they all lead to the same place. Separation is but the prelude to possibility. All so that humanity may cross that final gateway into eternity. Our goals in Jinjo and Rinasita have been fulfilled. A Threnodian's resonator, an artificial Threnodian, and a second resonance awakening. We now possess both the knowledge and the means. Next, it is time we turn our gaze to our accomplishments in Lahai Roy.
Today will be a fine day.
Yo, that's... Okay, so they pretty much spelled out explicitly that they're looking to create artificial Threnodian to create artificial Threnodians, create artificial resonators for those Threnodians, and cause induced second awakenings for those artificial resonators. Like, okay, yeah, that seems like knowledge that's... And it's also interesting that they referred to themselves, probably specifically Schwarwitz or whatever his name is, the guy inhabiting Charon right now, as former waystones of humanity. Like, there's a lot of really interesting implications, like Abby having originally been a Threnodian, apparently. Alto talking about converting a Threnodian into, I guess, the anti-Threnodian, which would be one of the Sentinels, right? And that makes sense. Like, I think because of the visual themes and how, like, you could see Imperator having, like, the same gems and, like, level of power as Leviathan even before they merged when they were fighting. It kind of implies that Rover, as Arbiter, already knew how to do this, and that all of the Sentinels might have been Threnodians. Or they could have been artificially created, and Threnodians might be like a natural phenomenon. Right? But yeah, there's a lot of, like, implications for that. And it all kind of comes back to, how does this tie into the calamity that's talked about in the Somme Noir event quests, like the film festival and stuff? The original lament, which was apparently brought on by some entity being attracted to humanity and descending to the planet and destroying everything. And, you know, people in the game talk about pre-lament physics, things like that. Really makes you wonder what exactly the first lament was and what caused it. And I suspect that the Rover is a pre-lament human, one of the few survivors of whatever did that, who came up with a means to try and find a solution to the changes the lament caused. But this is all just speculation. Anyway, so I want to change Rover's terminal. Okay.
Let me be there.
So yeah, it's just in the terminal list. Yeah, let's use it. I mean, it's cool that they let us change the terminal, but it doesn't match the outfit at all, does it? Oh, what does Alto have to say? Oh, it's unvoiced. About the Journeying Paradise. The Paradise, a realm created by the Threnodian Leviathan, and the destination of the Dark Tide. But judging by its nature, its reach, and the havoc it could bring, its descent is nothing less than what we define as the Lament. Still, without question, your actions, Rover, Vama, kept that from becoming a true lament. Rinasita. What a journey it's been. Truly one for the epics. Okay, Threnodian's gem. You mean the missing frequency, right? We've already cross-checked it against Chimera and Cardathia's frequency samples left here at the Black Shores. Not a single one aligned, not even close. Which means we can't dismiss the chance that the missing frequency has already been seized by the Fraxidus. But don't worry, we've sped up the gem's analysis. Even if the Fraxidus is scheming, we'll have countermeasures ready. Yeah, so that's interesting that Cristoforo kept a piece of the Threnodian's power, which, the way he talked about it, how the Threnodian's power of separation and merger basically allowed him to break the lines between fiction and reality, between imagination and reality. I mean, we saw what he was capable of in Septimont, presumably before he had actually taken a piece of the power for himself, because the Threnodian was still incubating at that point. Yeah, he seems like... I mean, I'm sure Charon, or something Schwartz, is probably more powerful in some particular way. But honestly, Cristoforo's abilities seem like kind of, I mean, they're literally story-breaking. They're literally story-defining. Like, just seems... I mean, if he's more powerful than he was initially, that's just ridiculous. It's just absurd. Anyway, about Abby.
Together we stand!
Oh my god, I've been muted this whole fucking time. Well, I don't know how long I've been muted for. I might have just clicked it without thinking. Yeah, lots of interesting lore implications about Abby potentially... Well, I mean, Abby was almost definitely a Threnodian at one point, and was probably forcibly stripped of their will and turned into the friendly, hungry mascot we know today. It was almost like, and the way that Schwartz talked about it, it was almost definitely not like something that Abraxas, the Threnodian, was willing to go along with. It was probably forcibly done to them. So if Abby ever gets those memories back, it might be bad. It might be really bad. That's kind of the implication. Now, like, you know, Schwartz could be lying, but I feel like probably because of the storytelling, he's probably telling the truth. Like, the thing about the Fraxidus is, like, you could say, oh, they're bad people, they're, like, using these manipulations and stuff. And even in Frolova's story, where she kind of tried to deceive Rover into being stuck inside the Lost Beyond, I'm having a hard time remembering where any of the Fraxidus have ever outright lied. Because usually they talk in sort of vague terms, like Scar's parable about the village with the sheep feeding themselves to the wolves and turning on any sheep who call out what they're doing, right? Like, all of these parables, we don't really get specific contexts in which they apply. They're kind of vague, and you kind of have to think, like, oh, could it apply here? Could it apply there? And that's not a bad thing, because it gives you room to speculate, but it also means, like, we can't definitively say, oh, they're lying, or they're wrong, or they're telling the truth. We can only just kind of say, well, they're telling us what they think in general, and maybe that applies to certain situations, but we can't say for sure. But yeah, the long and short of it is, based on what Schwartz said, and then based on Threnodian asking Abraxas, why have you betrayed us? I mean, sure, like, they refer to the Threnodian as the, or the Leviathan as the, as, like, a liar throughout the story, but, like, in that particular moment, in that context, I mean, the Threnodian would have to be really planning ahead beyond its own demise to the rise of maybe an entirely different entity taking over the role of Leviathan. It just doesn't make sense that it would lie in that moment, especially not from, like, a narrative perspective. So, like, it seems like they're basically 100% confirming that Abby was a Threnodian, at some point was altered to not be a Threnodian anymore. Because if it had Threnodian frequencies, then people like the characters in Huanglong probably would have recognized that immediately. Anyone in Renacita probably would have recognized that immediately. The Black Shores would have recognized that immediately. So at some point, Abby was a Threnodian, then was altered to not be a Threnodian, and Schwartz kind of heavily implies, and clearly he knows about this, that it was not done. Whatever happened to Abby was not willing to have it happen to them when they were quote-unquote Abraxas. So, like, the question of Abby getting their memories back and not being an ally anymore is an interesting one. I don't think they would ever I don't think it's going to happen for a very, very long time. Like, I think the only way they would ever actually give us, like, Abby getting all their memories back is if the story goes on for, like, 4 or 5 more years, and maybe that far down the road we finally get some huge fucking reveal of Abby's original Threnodian form, and, you know, maybe there's some struggle where we have to try and convert Abby from a Threnodian into a Sentinel. But yeah, it's huge lore implications. Also, Charon referring to himself as a waystone, like the waystone of humanity. And I mean, they all, like, he refers to the Fraxidus as a whole as that, but I'm guessing that out of all of them, he's probably much older, and probably the only one who would specifically have been some kind of historical figure. Also, and this is why I say it came off as, like, Galbrenna became the Chosen One, is she just, like, knew so much of this stuff. And I get that their explanation is, like, well, she gathered pieces of information by, you know, devouring tacit discords and tide spawn, and inheriting pieces of information from them as just, like, because there's just memories inside the tide spawn, inside tacit discords, that while they're jumbled and unintelligible separately, because she's eaten so many, she has, like, a clearer picture, but it's still, like, yeah, she just knows the name of the Fraxidus leader, like, but we've gone this long into the story without ever hearing of it, or hearing mention of, like, a legendary mask wearer shapeshifter, right? I mean, maybe it's in some, like, lore book somewhere obscure, but I've played, like, all of the side stories, done, like, 100% map completion on every zone, and, I'm not gonna sit here and say that, like, oh, I remember every piece of information with, like, a photographic memory, but, you know, I think if something like, you know, Schwarzlock, or whatever his name is, came up, it should probably be more than once if he's that legendary of a figure, so it kind of feels like a bit of an ass-pull to just have her just... Oh yeah, she just knows him on a name basis. And knows what he can do, and that he wears 1,000 masks. He's a shapeshifter with the ability to perfectly mimic the frequencies of whatever he's shaped into. Like, it seems a bit of a reach that even she would know that, even given the explanation of absorbing memories and information from thousands of discords and tide spawn. So, like, yeah, that's my one criticism, is, like, and I appreciate that they didn't want to just be like, Rover's the Chosen One, they're perfect and overpower everything at all times, because that kind of takes stakes out of the story. But it felt like they did it by just saying, well, we'll let Galbrenna be the Chosen One, who's perfect and overcomes all things at all times. For, like, you know, for the duration of this one. That would be my one criticism. And again, I don't want to, like, emphasize that too much, because there was a lot of really cool stuff. Like, getting to see all of the characters from Renacida come together for, like, the final push to the dark tide that was under the Earthrend Reg, like, in Sanguis Plateaus. Getting to do the actual fight with Chiwan against Scar. Like, that was a bit unexpected. And maybe not the fight I was hoping for. But it was cool that they did it, right? It was cool that they did the whole thing in stages. I wish that they had, like, had us... Like, the finale where everyone was fighting was cool. I wish that they had us, like, use all of the characters as teams throughout different stages of the end. So that, like, you know, your 1, 2, 3 would be, like, I don't know, Augusta, you know, somebody... You would have, like, your Zani Phoebe team. You'd have your, and also Carlotta and that, just because, right? And, maybe, like, what was the other one? Like, Lupa, Galbrenna. You know, I mean, like, sort of the meta comps. Maybe not even the meta comps, but just, like, you know, have us use each character, like, actually use them instead of just have them be, like, on the side, you know? And then do what they did at the end, which was pretty cool. And my other thing is, like, the end fight where the Threnodian uses the abilities, like the forts and weapon skills and attacks of all of the characters from Rinasita to fight you. That was a really cool touch. I just wish it had been, like, not just Fleur-de-Lis's body. Like, I wish we had gotten to see, like, a really cool new form. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, they did do work to make Fleur-de-Lis's body look more Threnodian-esque. Like, it was obviously not just a reskin. Like, there were some model edits and some animation edits. But I wish we had just gotten, like, some crazy new thing. And I understand why, like, because, you know, the idea is, well, they trapped her in Fleur-de-Lis's form so that the Threnodian could be trapped. Right? But, like, I feel like they could have been like, yeah, okay, well, now the Threnodian's, like, desperate, and they're wildly corrupting the form beyond just sort of cosmetic alterations. Like, adding new limbs and turning into some kind of monstrosity. I really wish we had gotten that. Like, it's okay that we didn't. I really wish we had. But still, it was a cool fight. The dialogue happening while everyone was using their abilities against it, and it was trying to use their abilities against them, but just being completely overwhelmed was really cool. The cutscenes were really cool. Yeah, overall, there were definitely a couple points where I was like, I wish they had done something here, like, you know, letting us actually fight Karen as Galbrenna. I feel like they probably did intend to do that, but didn't have time to design the fight, so they just slapped in a couple extra cutscenes instead. Which is like, it's okay. It's not as good as it could have been, but it's still pretty good. The whole sequence where... I actually really like the whole sequence where you're in, like, first person as Galbrenna, like, charging across the map, just slaughtering discords, using aim and feathers and shit. Like, it was a QTE that... I don't know if you could really fail it. I didn't try. But it felt like there might have been a way to, but, like, let's assume that it's like the other ones where you can't. Even so, it was still kind of a fun, like, romp just to experience that. Yeah, I really overall enjoyed that. Also, Frolova joining the Fraxidus at the end there. Interesting. Even though she is already available to players, like, and they kind of spell it out where, like, she's not officially with the Fraxidus anymore because, like, she promised to fulfill that one particular thing, and then once she did, she left them. But, yeah. What else? What else is there? Yeah, I mean, there's so much. Like, I feel like I'm just kind of stream of conscious jumbling this out. Like, if I wanted to really organize my thoughts and do, like, a chronological point by point, I should probably, like, sit down and write that out and maybe make a, like, video about it. But, I will say, the music and everything was really cool. I don't think any moment in particular ever hit the way that, like, Lupa v. Mia hit, or the way that, the end of Augusta's story hit. I mean, especially with the way they used the music at the end of Augusta's story and synced it up with that crazy mountain-destroying swing. That was... for me, that just hit so hard, right? Like, that was so cool. So insanely cool. I don't think anything quite hit at that level for me. But, like, it was still really cool overall. Like, there was no one single moment where I was like, oh my god. But the finale, the big fight against the Threnodian, where, you know, everyone's speaking and actually fighting alongside you and throwing their moveset at it at the same time as you are, pretty cool. Even if the fight, like I'm gonna be honest, there was so much happening there that I don't feel like I really fully processed any one element of it. Like, you know, I missed a lot of the voice lines and what was said, because I was like, oh, I need to watch out for this telegraph or that telegraph. And then sometimes I'd miss a telegraph because I was like, okay, I need to watch Galbrenna's charge meter so that I can build it up to full before I E. And then I'd fuck up Galbrenna's fucking rotation because then I'd be trying to, like, listen to the voice line. So it was like I couldn't do anything well. I was sort of trying to do everything and sort of trying to absorb everything. And in doing that, I really kind of absorbed not as much of that moment as, like, not even like 30% of each individual aspect of it. Like, I didn't even notice that the Threnodian was using other characters' weapon skills until the Yuno's voice line where she said, my bow, something about, you know, how the Threnodian was, like, doing a poor imitation. And then, like, after that, I think I noticed the Threnodian holding Zani's, like, shield sword during an attack. And I was like, oh, okay. And I still, for the life of me, cannot actually properly... Like, every time I try to do the thing where Galbrenna jumps up in the air and, like, does a heavy attack to hold and do, like, the Devil May Cry thing, I fuck it up. And I end up, like, sending her back to the ground and then just doing normals. Because I do not understand her rotation at all. I just can't absorb all that information at once. Maybe I'm an old man, I don't know, but, yeah. Like, there was so much. And I will say, again, the Charon scenes, the Charon cutscenes where he was fighting Galbrenna were so cool. The fact that she, like, set up her blood to drip across the whole stage and then ignited it to do, like, a purging holy flame that actually purified the Threnodian's essence. I mean, A, the fact that she could purify Threnodian essence kind of came out of nowhere, but it was cool. And B, like, the fact that they... I mean, I'd have to go back and watch the cutscenes and sort of see if you can notice it. But the fact that they used that to sort of establish... I do remember very clearly the scene where they're, like, walking in circles around the arena opposite to each other. Like, it reminds me of that Fate Zero, like the first episode of Fate Zero, where like the two characters are doing a bunch of exposition and they're just sort of walking in circles around each other, and it just sets up this tension of like these two are about to fight and they're like fighting even as they're not fighting, and to like at the end of that see, yeah, she was actually using that as an opportunity to set the stage in like an Uryu style from Bleach, like where he would set up, you know, these Quincy traps around the arena to enable an attack later. That was a really cool touch. So like, even though we didn't get the actual fight I feel like they wanted to give us, like, I would be very surprised if they did not intend for that to be an actual boss fight that you do. Considering that they made the custom model just for Charon, who they expressly state is just a mask that Schwartz is wearing. Like, literally they say repeatedly that, oh, this is just one mask. This is just a throwaway. And he explicitly states, yeah, this was just a throwaway role that they gave me for this specific script, for Cristoforo's specific script here. So they went to all the trouble of designing the model. They even designed like a shield animation for him that you see him use on Galbrenna's bullets. So I would be very, very surprised if that was not intended originally to be an actual boss fight that you do as Galbrenna. But that they just, like, ran out of time. I mean, custom model, custom VA, it probably just got cut. Unfortunately. But even so, what we got was, you know, the next best thing. So they put in some extra cutscenes and stuff to fill it out, right? That is the one thing I felt the most strongly, though, was like, I really wish that we had gotten to do that as a fight. Especially after they just kind of inserted the Shuyun, whatever the swordsman's name is, versus Scar fight, because that didn't really feel relevant to the story, like, at all. It was relevant in the sense of, like, yeah, the Fraxidus are distracting from the Dark Tide to try and prevent our plan from being executed. But, like, it wasn't a Rinascita, it was two non-Rinascita characters having a fight about something that really had nothing to do with Rinascita. Like, Shuyuan was there to basically re-arrest Scar after the Jinzhou escape. Right? Like, it just felt a bit out of place that would be the fight we got, and I get why they did it. It's to let us try out the new unit, which was really cool. I really liked that. But, yeah, it was not the fight I wanted. So, like, when we got that, and then we didn't get the Charon fight, when we didn't get to do a fight as all the other characters against some big bad boss each, like, we did get to do a little bit of that in the lead-up. Like, before Avidius's finale, we did get to do the fight against those, like, Tide Spawn at the Averardo Vault with, you know, Zani and Phoebe and Carlotta. And that was cool, right? And then we got to do, like, the fight where we're charging through Sanguis Plateaus using Augusta and Yuno. So, like, we did kind of cycle through all of them. I just feel like they also each should have gotten, like, a boss fight as a group that we did. Instead of just, you know, fighting some mobs. And it would have been, I feel like it would have been okay to, like, reuse bosses for those. But I feel like for Charon, we should have gotten an actual boss fight. And then for the Threnodian, I would have liked to see like a stage 2 where it just completely breaks Fleur-de-Lis's form and turns into some horrific monstrosity. So those are the two, like, big things in my mind that I was hoping for. Right? And I know I keep harping on about this, right? Because, like, those were things I really, really, really wanted that would have been really, really cool. And it's unfortunate that we didn't get them. But I think what we did get was still a pretty satisfying finale overall. Like, again, actually having all of the characters fight alongside you against the final boss, actually having them actively engage in dialogue and see their abilities activate against the boss, actually, like, triggering effects and, you know, using Rover and Galbrenna, that was a really cool moment. And then seeing the finale where, like, the ending animation where sort of everyone takes part in the fight, and it's not just like a power of friendship thing where they hold their hands out and give you an energy ball. It was like, I distinctly remember seeing, you know, the Threnodian being attacked by one character, and then, like, launching a counterattack only for Carlotta to zip in from behind and land another shot, only for the Threnodian to try to respond to that, for somebody else to zip in from another angle. Like, they were actually just cornering this thing, and it was well animated. That was pretty cool. You don't usually see that. Usually in games like this, it's just some sort of vague thing where they're, like, in a crowd. It's not usually as cleanly done as that. And I'll have to go back and rewatch it and see if my, like, initial impressions and memory of it are accurate, because, again, like I said, there was so much happening and so much I was thinking about as it was happening that maybe I didn't fully absorb it all correctly. But, yeah. Anyway, instead of continuing to go on, and I would just like to say, so far, the underclock on this has held. I really don't want to have to use it. Like, I did notice some, like, glitching and jarring that was indicative of a potential crash, like what was happening before. So I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, it's fixed, because, you know, we played for 5 straight hours before and thought it was fixed, and then it wasn't. But, yeah, and it's not something I want to leave on for anything but this game, because I've never had any kind of crashing like that outside of Wuthering Waves. And it just... yeah, I don't know. Something with UE... What is this, UE5? I'm thinking it was either UE4 or 5. But I know that, like, UE is kind of infamous for having potential issues. But even so, I think BL4 is also using the same engine. And I haven't had a single crash with that in probably, like, 20-30 hours of gameplay. So I don't know what's going on with Wua. I love it so much that I'm willing to put up with it and, like, try to find a workaround. It's just been really frustrating. Like, it still, despite having that issue, it still hasn't really detracted from my experience with this game that much. It's just something I hope I can get resolved. I need to, like, basically wipe my system at this point anyway. It's just a whole lot of work to do that because I need to back stuff up, and take a lot of time. I don't, you know, I don't want to do that just to play a single video game. And I haven't had this issue with any other fucking game, program, software. I haven't had this issue rendering video in, like, DaVinci. Haven't had this issue running, like, Orca Slicer. Haven't had this issue running Blender. Never had this issue with any other program, but it happens consistently, repeatedly with this. And it sucks because I really enjoy this game a lot. Like, if it were any other game and that happened, I'd just be like, yeah, I'm just kind of done with it. But, like, this game is so good, I'm still willing to put up with that. I just really hope that, whatever it is gets resolved. I mean, I don't want to say for sure that it's something on Kuro's end, but like I said, I've run dozens of other programs for a combined total of hundreds of hours and never once had a single black screen crash, and yet it's been happening in this game. Like, now it's gotten to the point where it's like every 10 minutes. And so far it's held out. And another thing, oh, there's a casket, they added new casket delivery, okay. But, like, I'm gonna take a risk here and potentially accidentally, quote unquote, end the stream. Because I noticed that it happened a lot in Raguna City. Like, whenever we were trying to start the 2.7 quest, it would happen here, particularly in the cutscenes around Margaritas. So I'm thinking maybe there's like some game object or something there that's causing a display crash. It's not 100% because obviously we did eventually manage to get through them, but let's just add a little bit of load. And I mean, maybe the underclock and the undervolt will prevent that from being an issue right now. Maybe not. Again, I don't really know. I can't really say problem confirmed, but okay, let's trigger a dialogue. Okay. And I mean, it would also happen when I was doing holograms, but I think that might have been an issue of like mechanics or some kind of game calculation. Lioness of Glory, I don't even want to like start that right now. But yeah, yeah. I mean, I've tried literally everything at this point. I have, you know, done a safe mode, driver display, updater wipe of any potential old NVIDIA drivers. I've never had an Intel card in this because, like, Intel's only got, like, what, 2 cards out now that are, like, mainstream gaming cards. But I did a wipe for those 2 anyway, and then I also wiped after doing those. So like, I booted safe mode, ran those wipes without restarting, and then ran the AMD wipe with a restart. Came back, reinstalled my AMD drivers. Ran a repair install on Wuthering Waves, right? I also went in and like set the compatibility mode for the Wuthering Waves game executable so that it doesn't run full screen optimizations anymore, so that it's run as administrator. And even after doing all of that twice, still had the crashing issue. And now I have undervolted, underclocked my card, because that's like the only thing I've found on any kind of forums so far that talks about specifically the black screen driver crash issue. And the way I know that my computer still runs after that and that it's a driver crash issue is because a couple times I've had it happen where I was talking with friends in Discord and I could still talk with them in Discord just fine even as the screen was black. So that was not ideal. Yeah. And I've never had this happen. Like, again, if anything should be causing a driver crash right now, you would think it would be Borderlands 4 because that game is apparently horribly optimized. Everyone has performance issues with it. It also, I believe it runs in the same engine, Unreal Engine 5? I don't know if this was 4 or 5. I don't know if Wuthering Waves was 4 or 5. I'll have to look into that. Either way, I know that UE is, like, kind of known for having these issues with, like, display drivers and stuff. But yeah, if anything should be causing that, it should not be Wuthering Waves. It should be Borderlands 4. And granted, I haven't put nearly as much time into that game as I have this one. But considering I can't go 10 minutes without crashing in this, the fact that I've played 4 for like, I don't know, 20, 30 hours at this point, without a single black screen, despite otherwise being the same conditions, really does kind of lead me to believe that it is a problem with Kuro's game. And I mean, like, the only other solution I've seen is to roll back my AMD drivers to like 5 versions ago, which is maybe not something ideal that I want to do. Especially not since this is the only game where I'm having the issue. And I really don't want to, like, underclock my card and undervolt my performance in other games. Granted, I know undervolting can actually increase performance in certain contexts, but, like, in this case, the undervolt matches the, like, the undervolt I've set is to match the underclock, basically. It doesn't quite match it, like, I didn't fully reduce it the same amount, because I haven't messed with it that much. It's like, it's not an exact science, right? It's kind of an art. I mean, it is a science, but it's also kind of an art, you know what I mean? But I really don't want to have to run at 80% clock speed for everything just to solve an issue that's happening only on this specific game. And I don't want to have to constantly tweak my settings back and forth either. But, you know, for this game, I'll kind of deal with it. It is what it is. But I'd really like to see it resolved, and I don't know that it's going to be because it's such a weirdly specific issue that I'm having a hard time pinpointing. You know, like, I think realistically the only way I'm going to solve it at this point is basically delete my entire computer, do a fresh reinstall, and run from there, because, like, I've got 4 or 5 years of programs on here, but that means backing up, you know, all my old mod files that I've created, like stuff I've worked on for Divinity, for Baldur's Gate, and backing that stuff up when you don't remember, because, like, when you build a mod, right, you write all the code and everything, when you're working on it actively, you can remember exactly where everything in your mod is. You can say, like, oh, this piece of script is here, And then this particular file that goes in this particular directory is here. And then the .pack file of all that compressed is like here. I don't remember where any of that shit is. I don't remember the file structure. I barely remember what the scripts I wrote. Like, so, you know, backing that up is either just like, yeah, I'm just going to throw fucking 20 gigs of data. I mean, it's not really 20 gigs, but, you know, 20 gigs of data on a drive and hope that that's everything. And I've lost some stuff doing that. So, yeah, not a good time to have to do that to solve an issue that only happens in specific situations in one specific game and nothing else. But I also don't want to... I mean, maybe I should upgrade my graphics card, but, like... I mean, this was... I'm not going to say this is, like, currently top of the line, but, like, it was literally the flagship consumer-grade GPU. Like, a 6950 XT, when it came out, like, you couldn't get a better card without spending, like, $3,000 on an NVIDIA card. You just couldn't. And, I mean, it's only been 2 generations. Oh, we got Chacona here. I'm guessing they didn't have time to voice all this. Come on, the plushie gang's about to go on a jam session. I don't fully understand what they're trying to say, but I can feel the joy in this piece. Language might separate us, but music always brings us together. I wonder where their joy comes from. From finding a new home? From the friends they cherish? Or maybe they're just happy to have a slice of delicious pizza. What do you think? Whatever the reason, God, I love that. It's so goofy and like stiff, but the like arms raised animation is just fun. Whatever the reason, this joy is worth celebrating with a good melody. Okay, well... God... I really don't... I don't like that I'm setting my max frequency to 80%. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that I'm setting my max voltage to 90%. It's, because, like, I feel like for other games that might cause even more performance issues. And I know, it's like BL4's fault for being poorly optimized, etc., right? End of the day, though... I just want to play the fucking game. I don't care whose fault it is. And it would be nice if they would fix it, but knowing they won't, you know. I'm talking about Gearbox, because, like, I don't believe they'll optimize this. I think Kuro would try, but, like, I don't know what they did. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I'm just really frustrated about it. I should stop going on about it. It is what it is. So what do I want to do now? Well, I did fuck up and not do all my dailies yesterday because, like, obviously the story took a lot longer than I thought it would. I mean, obviously we can blaze through, like, the first, like, probably all but the last stage of Lioness. I don't know if I want to do that right now, because, like, not only is it going to be a struggle bus, but I'm still just worried that I'm just going to crash mid-fight. And there's other stuff I want to do, like, we should do the daily. Oh, there's new side quests, too. Okay, interesting. We'll go do the daily first. And try and get the logbook out of the way. I think I'm gonna do Galbrenna's trial, or like, I don't know if there's like a proper training version that you can access. Like, I know when you get a character, you can get the proper training version that walks you through each of their potential rotations, more or less. If they had something like that I can do beforehand to see if I can, like, actually understand how she plays, that would be really nice, because then, like, I could figure out if I enjoy it or not. Because, like, from what I've played so far, I honestly have no idea of whether or not I would enjoy playing Galbrenna or not. I mean, there's no question she's probably, like, OP as hell, right? But also, I don't have a fusion team, I don't have Lupa, and realistically, I'm not pulling 2 5-star characters and their SIGs. There's about a 0% chance of that with the amount of pulls I have. So, like, the question for me is, do I actually want that? And I don't know. How long, how many pulls? Didn't I get, like, a 5-star? Didn't I get a SIG recently? And then stop? Yeah, I got Uno's SIG. That's right. That's why. Okay, so we claim all that. Did that get us there? Yeah, okay, that's done. We can activate this. Claim all that. Wait, what? Why is it still... Oh, because it wants me to click this to not get the fucking notification. Right.
Today will be a fine day.
Okay, right, and it still has me... Oh, right, because I didn't activate...
As we head toward our shared future, leaving the past behind.
I'm guessing this comes from the Sonnet's casket turn-in. So... I guess we'll do that. I have every Sonnet's casket from Sanguis Plateaus. It just wouldn't let you turn them in before. So, oh boy, we're getting raindrops. That's exciting. Deliver all. Okay, no more turn-ins here. So, bro. That's... Yeah, I don't know.
Today will be a fine day.
Not going to do this right now, but it would be real nice if it would get rid of that notification for me. Okay, great. Okay, oh, so that gives a new... That must be Galbrenna's material. Okay, what else do I need to, like, take care of? What is this? Right, okay, yes. Please stop. Okay, there we go. We got a bunch of... I gotta say, Avidius' story did not play out how I expected, but it did play out in a way that made sense. Like, of course, Cristoforo was using him to try and trigger a Dark Tide surge to try and, like, make people insane inside Regina. Like, it makes sense.
Be my salvation! Judgment!
Also, the fact that they kept saying that everything played out according to Cristoforo's plans is, like, you know, either in universe they're kind of wrong, and like he just kept having to make adaptations, and ultimately it worked out more or less how they wanted. Like, that kind of makes sense. If everything actually played out exactly according to his plans, that's, like, way too sus and way too OP. And they kind of need to nerf that shit. Right, so one thing I wanted to do is... Okay, I don't normally I try to, like, figure out how to play a character for myself, but, like, I'm gonna see if there's, like, a rotation walkthrough. Echoes... I mean, this recommends priority for skill upgrades, but it doesn't really tell you. So let's Fort Circuit. I mean, obviously you want the inherent skills first. Those are usually fucking huge and kind of free. Sequence notes. Yeah, the recommended sequence nodes, like it's any kind of choice. Oh no, I think I'll choose S4 instead of S1. Oh wait, that's not how it works. Echo skill, heavy attack comes from Echo skill. So she might work well with Prolova then? Interesting. Increases damage of her attacks and demon hypostasis. Yeah, so QE. Echo skills like Frolova. Yeah, sure. Gameplay consists of using other characters' unique echo skills to power up. Yeah. So it doesn't really tell you, like, what her rotations are. Just sort of gives you a general overview. Okay. So if we go to Aces, I guess we'll just give it a try. Right, her dodge also gives her a buff. If you cast it during a combat action. Okay. Okay.
Galbrenna, ready to join the hunt.
Okay, so before we actually activate that, so this is the hold.
More bullets for you.
Okay, so that's 3 consecutive actions, right?
Let's settle the
Stuff
score.
like these are heavy. Okay, so then her normal attack chain. Looks like the normal attack chain and the heavy attack chain end with the same attack. Just gets there faster. Okay, so then... Okay, you just do that anytime. I'm not sure you would ever actually want to do that in a rotation. Okay, so... okay, so... Okay.
Behave now.
So the red gauge or after flame gauge? Let's do outline. You know what, let's not. Let's just look at the, okay, so basic. Okay, basic attack 1 through 3 are considered heavy attack. And attack 4 is considered echo skill. Interesting. Press normal attack after performing basic attack. Stage 4 to perform stage... So if you keep cycling, you can just skip stage 1. Interesting. Volley of Death. 3 consecutive attacks, dealing 3... stage 3 is considered echo skill. Okay. So it is really just BA4 and Heavy 3 are like literally the same thing. Right? 177. Okay, maybe they're different. 1 times 3, so that would be like what, 49, 50.1, 67, 16. So that's actually a little weaker. But roughly the same. Okay. They use the same animation. Okay, mid-air press, normal attack to consume stand, plunging attack, dealing fusion damage. Hold normal attack to continuously consume stamina, launch barrage of shots at targets below, dealing fusion damage. I mean, I like the meme of it. It's kind of cool, but let's like as far as gameplay, I feel like this is not that fun. Like, I wouldn't want to do it for a very long time.
Who gets the bullet? That's your call.
The hunt never stops.
Okay, so let's look at that again. What is the multiplier on that? What is that called? It is... Ashfall Barrage. It's just considered... Okay, it's considered heavy attack. If she does not land when interrupted during a barrage, she cannot immediately cast this skill again. Okay. Release normal attack during the barrage to cast plunging attack. Press normal attack right after casting plunging attack to go into BA3. So Ashfall Barrage, midair 30. Sustained fire, stamina cost per second. So that's like 30 per second. Also, where does the plunging damage? Mid-air attack, Ashfall Barrage plunging, 143. Yeah, so if it's only 30... like 30% attack damage per hit? I mean, how many times does that hit per second? Maybe 2, 3? That doesn't seem like it's actually very good damage. I'm not sure you would actually use that in a rotation. But maybe there is some reason, like some forte thing or whatever.
Who gets the bullet? That's your call.
The hunt never stops.
Dash forward, leap into the air, flip backward upon hitting the target, dealing fusion, considered as heavy attack. So she has basically split scaling between heavy attack and echo skill, seems like. Resonance skill. Okay, Ascent of Malice. Upon reaching 100 points of Sin Flame, Resonance skill replaces the Resonance skill Ascent of Malice. Slash at enemies with her wings, dealing fusion damage, considered heavy attack. Upon casting the skill, enter Demon Hypostasis. Sin Flame is converted into an equivalent amount of Purging Flame. Okay. I'm guessing those are all amplified in her fort. Okay, can be followed by basic attack, Seraphic Execution 2. Gilbert is in the threshold state. In the state she accumulates after flame. Great. So after flame is the buff, Sin Flame is the actual resource that you spend. Hypostasis lasts. Each point of after flame increases the damage dealt through basic attack. Oh, you know what I think this means is, like, if you have an echo that casts like multiple attacks, then the effect will only happen once per attack, or like once per the whole echo. So like even if they do like 20 attacks, it only counts as one echo cast. I always assumed this meant that, like, oh, if you use an echo, you can't just use that same echo's cooldown later. I think you can, because that's the only way you could build 40 points in a 3-character team, is if you can get the 8 points of Afterflame more than once from a single character's echo. Yeah, okay, this effect resets when blah blah blah. While Demon Hypostasis lasts, each point of Afterflame increases the damage to basic attack. This effect is removed upon exiting all Afterflame. So basically you just build up the buff. Alright. So Okay, they're replaced like I thought. You know, they really just should lay this out in chart format. Basic attack is replaced with Seraphic Execution. Heavy attack is replaced with Flame Wing Verdict. Mid-air attack Barrage is replaced with Hellsent Barrage. Dodge counter is replaced with Dodge counter Purg Scourge. Skill Encroach is replaced with Ravage, which consume Purging Flame. Okay. So the question is, how best to spend those? Every point of After Flame increases damage, blah blah blah, all of that by 1.5% up to 60%. So yeah, 40. Just remove the pawn. Yeah. Okay. Purging Flame depletes, or after staying in Demon Hypostasis for over 50 seconds. Demon Hypostasis ends automatically. Okay, so there's no like tick down. It's just purely based on you spending resource, pretty much. Because, like, realistically, you're not going to spend 50 seconds in a single phase unless you end combat and are just, like, running around. Consume stamina to attack the target. Right, okay, so this is basic attack. Stage 1 to 3 are considered heavy attack. 4 and 5 are echo skill. Press normal after executing 5 to go right back to stage 3. So basically you completely skip the heavy attack phase if you're just cycling. Heavy attack. Dealing to purge, consume purging flame. Oh, right. That's not after flame, right? Stage 3 is considered echo damage. Normal attack after casting. Stage 1 to cast. Oh, okay, so that lets you transition from the heavy chain to the basic chain. I don't know why you would want to. Unless, like, the multiplier times the... Unless the multiplier is just better and it happens in, like, roughly the same amount of time. Press normal after casting heavy stage 2 and 3 to cast basic attack stage 3. So basically you can hold heavy and it'll just do the heavy chain, or you can release and tap a normal to enter the normal chain. Okay. While in midair, press normal attacks to consume. Yeah, dealing. This is pretty standard. Yeah, it's basically exactly how the normal version works. It lets you skip to stage 4. Okay, so dodge counter 4-5. Pretty good. Dash forward, leap in the air, flip backward upon hitting the target, dealing fusion damage. Resonance skill Ravage and Encroach share a cooldown, so you really wouldn't want to use Encroach outside of... Yeah, okay. Okay, so Hellstride is only while on the ground. Hellstride can trigger successful dodges. Hellstride cannot be cast consecutively. Casting the skill does not reset the attack cycles within a short period of time. Okay, so good. It doesn't break your attack chain either. That's really good. Really strong. Really versatile gameplay. Burning Drive. Oh, casting intro skill. Normal 4 in demon state. Encroach, Ascent of Malice, or Ravage. Increases her resistance to interruptions and increases her attack by 20% for 4 seconds. Okay. So basically you just want to keep the cycle going to get to maintain uptime on an attack buff. Okay. Okay, so attack target. So you really want to use ultimate. You want to enter hypostasis and then use ultimate immediately for the buff, because this buffs only her hypostasis form attacks by an 85% damage multiplier increase. That's fucking wild. Okay. Anything else this does? Normal after casting the skill. Okay, that just lets you skip to... Oh, so you hold after introing to heavy volley stage 2. Okay. And you can be in demon hypostasis off field and intro back into a demon hypostasis. That's interesting. Attack right after basic attack stage 2. Basic attack seraphic execution stage 2. Okay, what about outro? Yeah, it just deals lots of fusion damage. So I guess what I'm getting from this is like, so let's QE just to build some gauge. We'll hold her ult. I don't actually know Shorekeeper's rotation, by the way, guys. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. And then we'll fucking cast that again. More Teppy.
Inferno! Silence! As you wish.
And then, transfer, intro.
Just a scratch. Don't try to lick your wounds.
Okay, and then we do hypostasis.
Send you through your
pop this.
fresh face.
Very well. Before fury begins to stir.
Okay. So, kind of hard to get a full grasp of the rotation from that. I could see that being kind of fun, to be honest.
Fury boil.
Okay, let's just get this out of the way. I'm not even gonna bother to try to learn Lupa rotation, because, like, that ain't happening. Okay, great.
Cold warrior.
Something about, like, getting her attack chain fully built, and then using B, and then just doing an attack chain, and it's, like, great. Oh no, it's, like, heavy...
Into the spotlight! With me to victory! Glory is upon us! With me! Lackluster!
Okay, we'll go do the other ones real quick. Might as well get the freebies.
You can trust me to keep you safe.
You stay back.
So I think what I actually
Leave
want
it to me.
I don't entirely remember her setup. It's like basically intro to get like one glacier, E to get another, Q to get another, something like that. I honestly don't know.
Leave me alone! You're in for it now!
Can you tell I barely played 1.0 characters at all?
Leave it to me. Ha! Appear before me. Verity shines.
Stay behind me.
What? Okay.
Like frigid death. A change of perception.
I guess they don't snap to target when you do intro. More Teffy.
Make this quick. I've
Right.
Let's do this another way. As you wish. Burn! Leave me alone. Not bad, huh? Feel my wrath! Inferno! Ready for battle. Vanilla! Tell truth, facade. Wind Rider! Time to fight back. Break!
Leave it to me. Appear before me. Rejuvenating snow.
Fury boils! Let's do this another way. Burn to ashes! Burn! You're wide open. Tell truth, son. Wind Rider. 7.
Scottish Pikachu.
Is it just me? Or is the light bulb on my tail brighter than before? What's this? What's this? Squeaky, clear the way! Squeaky, alert! What's this?
Okay. Is there anything else I should do? I don't think that's reset yet. And that hasn't, that's not gonna reset for a while.
I shall have no one tarnishing victory's honor.
Okay, so she doesn't actually get full. Like, Galbrenna doesn't really benefit from basic attack, so having Lupa not really that important. Oh, for Lova.
Today will be a fine day.
Doesn't she boost, like, Havoc, heavy attack? Okay, so she doesn't give full benefit to Galbrenna either. And I still have characters to build. But I do feel like Galbrenna is like the type character. I just don't have like anything to support Galbrenna, and I still have other units to build. I don't know. Well, let's do my one convene for... Well, I have these free weapon ones, so I might as well use them. If If I don't get the weapon, I build pity towards another weapon. If I do, great, you know? I mean, here's the thing, like, Shiwan is cool, but I don't really want him that much. And the only character I kind of can consider getting, like, I don't know. It's like I kind of want every character, and then I kind of don't. Maybe I should just fucking pull instead of trying to, like, because, like, realistically, I mean, my teams are already built enough that I clear all the fucking meta every time. Will that change once they're no longer, like, the flavor of the month units that are being shilled? Almost definitely, but now I've got, like, enough units that I'm fairly confident I would be able to get most rewards even without that. So, like, having Cardathea's Sig would be nice, but we don't even have a confirmed Cardathea rerun yet, do we? So, like, it's gonna be... Well, and we know that the next half is going to be, what? Chiwon and I think it was Chakona? No, we just had Chakona, right? Hold on. Let me look up Wuwa banners. Current next banners. So the next half is Chiwon and Zani, and I already have Zani and Zani Sig. I mean, I'm just gonna basically never pull for sequences.
Today will be a fine
So I pretend they don't exist, but like maybe I should. Like, what is this? Forcible riposte gives a 50%. But you know, the thing is, right, like, I say this, the only reason I'm considering looking at sequences is not for damage upgrades, because, like, I do the same thing in Genshin. I basically pretend sequences don't exist, or constellations. Until I looked at Lauma's Constellation one, which literally changed... It didn't just, like, increase her damage or something. It literally takes her from being not a healer to being a healer. It takes her from her movement skill for traversing the world only lasts for, like, I don't know, what, 8 seconds or 10 seconds? To, well, now it lasts 15 seconds. Like, it changes... Like, if there's a constellation that changes gameplay for a character... in a way where it just makes them something they weren't before, that's something I might think about. But if it's just like a damage increase, even if it's a ridiculous damage increase, like 50% Spectro damage, like, you gotta be kidding me. That's ridiculous. That's insane. That's like... Anyway. But yeah, even if it's a huge damage increase, it's still just a damage increase and doesn't change the gameplay, right? And like Sequence 6, C6, whatever, for whatever game, I am never going to spend enough money on a gacha to realistically get that. Like, I'm just not. Like, I think the highest constellation I have, and bear in mind, I've played Genshin since literally release day in fucking August of 2020, or 2022, or 2020, 2020, like, literally the day it came out. And I know that because, like, I didn't even know about Genshin before that. I was just, like, browsing Steam because I was bored looking for games, and it happened to be Genshin's release day, and a friend of mine, like, joined me on it. And it was like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. So I've played, since release of that game, I do not have a single C4 5-star in that game. I have, like, a few C3s. I might be wrong. I might have one C4 now because of the changes they just made where you got, like, a free standard unit, and also where you can select a character to get a constellation for. But, like, C6... I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I haven't spent, for me, an unreasonable amount of money on this game. On these games, right? But, like, the amount of money I've spent on gacha since I started playing gacha is, and that's over 5 years now, nearly 6 years, is still not beyond the triple-digit dollars. So, like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, it's a good thing that I spent hundreds of... No. But it's like, in the context of over 5 years, like, that's basically a couple subscription fees. You know, $12 a month for 5 years, well, that's 144 times 5, that's like, what, $720. I've actually spent less on gacha as a whole than that. Right? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm so... right? But, like, just to put it in context, like, it's about what you would spend on a subscription fee for the same period of time if you just continuously sub. And that's a cheap sub. That's like $12 a month. That's like FF sub, right? Lowest tier FF sub. Most games charge $15. The amount of money you have to spend to get a fucking S6 or a C6. I mean, even an S6 in this game, which is going to be significantly cheaper just because of the way their pity system is lower. I'm sorry, if you're spending $2,000-$3,000 on a single character in a video game, you should not be trusted with money. I mean, unless you're just rich. Unless you're just raking in the money. Like, I'm sorry, but no. Like, again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I haven't spent money on, you know, a game that is purely for enjoyment. But, like, that's a ridiculous amount of money. Like, that is irresponsible gambling addict levels of money if you're buying C6s, S6s, R5s every time. If you're making enough where that doesn't financially affect you, good on you, but... yeah, if you're not, you should not be doing that. Like, those constellations, those stats do not exist for you, and you should behave as if they do not exist for you, because it's just going to be bad for you if you try to actually get them. Like, getting one copy of the character is honestly not really responsible because it's hyper expensive, but it's like understandable because you can save Freemos. You have like I mean, I don't want to say it's a reasonable chance, but it's like a realistic chance of getting to 160 pulls to get a single copy of a unit, right? Like, that is doable if you save up your free pulls for like a couple months and then you only need to spend a little bit. Getting an extra copy, okay, maybe. Getting 2 extra copies, you're spending pretty irresponsibly. By the time you're up to fucking 6, I mean, if you're doing that for more than one character, you might as well just take out a second mortgage. And don't actually do that, by the way. That's a really bad idea. That's assuming you're in a position to take out a mortgage, which most people aren't these days. And like, I am a strong advocate of never spend money you don't have. Never take on debt for any reason unless it's literally you need shelter and it's the only way you're going to get shelter. That's it. And honestly, even then, if like you can't find an alternative, like, that sucks. But never take on debt for any reason ever. If it's in any way possibly avoidable, just don't do it. It's a bad idea. It's just a bad idea. You're not, like, you as an individual are not a company. You're not using that to leverage growth. You're not, like... And, like, these people who say, oh, well, that's good debt because you're leveraging growth and, like, whatever... That's not really true either, because then you end up... I mean... How many times have we seen a company take on debt to grow and then grow too fast and have a bunch of problems with their production pipeline, or, you know, sell out their customers in exchange for shareholder profits, and then that ultimately causes a lot of damage to the company. Like, I think people who like to, like people who like to talk about business and sell this idea of, like, there's good debt because you're leveraging debt or because you're building equity. Like, nah, that's all bullshit. Because the thing they don't tell you about your building equity, like, okay, great, you miss a fucking loan payment and all that equity disappears and it just becomes profit in some bank account's ledger. And it's like, oh, just be responsible. Yeah, hard. Some people lose their jobs, some people... And again, I'm lucky. I've never been in this position where I was at risk of not being able to make a payment. I've come close a few times, but... Yeah, I basically... And I know, I say this in the context of, like, oh, I spent money on gacha. But, like, aside from literally, you know, $12 a month, basically, for, like, that, and then, like, my Final Fantasy stuff, like, outside of necessities, I don't spend money. Like, I just don't. Because why would you know? Like, whereas I know people who will go out and spend hundreds of dollars on, like, some impulse purchase. You know, they'll buy a grill when they already own 2 working grills. They'll go out and buy $200 in cigarettes because, you know, cigarettes are apparently a necessity. You know, it's like, they'll go out and spend $50 at the bar drinking. Like, I don't do any of that.
Comes with the job, I guess.
So yeah, it's kind of like what do you fucking do, you know? What are you doing if you're spending thousands of dollars on a character in a video game? So yeah, basically, if you are not making like triple digits a year money, you should not be spending, you should never purchase, never even attempt to purchase an S6 character or a C6 character or whatever the equivalent is for Star Rail or for Zenless or for any gacha game. You should just never do it. It's not responsible. You won't get it, and you'll be broke and in crippling debt and lose your fucking living situation or whatever. Like, it's just a bad idea. Don't do it. So that's why I basically pretend that sequences for 5 stars just don't exist. They just don't. Maybe like a sequence 1, if it entirely changes the gameplay of a character in a tangible way, but if it's just like a number pump, you don't do it. You just don't. You just don't. It's not worth it. Don't do it. And even then, you shouldn't spend, like, irresponsibly. That said, I don't know. Do I pull for Galbrenna? I mean, what the hell is coming up? Shu Yuan? Like, he's cool. I mean, it's nice that they're finally introducing another male character, but, like... I mean, they literally hyped Galbrenna up as, like, the chosen one of this patch. And she's been hyped for a long time. I mean, I don't know how good her damage honestly is. Like, basing it off the trial version without a proper team setup is really hard to gauge. I don't know. Pretty sure that I won my last 50-50 because I lost the 50-50 before that. Or no, I didn't win my last 50-50. I won the last, yeah. So there's a good chance I don't even get her anyway. I mean, what is this? This is like, so that's 10 plus 400, so 12. That's another 12. That's 24. And then this would be what? 30 plus 790, so 34. So, what, 58 pulls, and I'm too deep? Wait, what? Oh no, I'm 10 deep. So that would get me to 68. You know what? What the hell? Let's just go for it. Like, honestly, there's no character coming up that I'm, like, so invested in that they're a must-pull for me. And, like, the main priority that I have outside of that is getting Cardathia Sig. And beyond that, I don't really need anything else from this game. So, we'll try to get Galbrenna. And if we don't get her, we don't get her. It is what it is. Guess we're doing single pulls. I thought maybe it would still just let me convert what I had, but yeah.
I'll handle your commission. Alone.
Yeah, okay. It do be what it do be, brother. Kind of annoying, but yeah.
I see my way clear.
I would increase resonance skill. That's fucking useless for him. Pretty sure he wants lib and heavy attack. Anyway. No Gerbrina.
Anything I can help you with?
What is this? Why do I have a...
Eyes on the horizon.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Is she like the only 4-star I don't have? Yeah, it kind of makes me think they might have just abandoned the whole 4-star, 5-star system, realistically. Kind of seems like they've just doubled down on 5 stars. Well, shit, Skeeter. You know, the thing about pulling and not getting a character is it makes you want to keep pulling for them. That's psychology. Psychology 101, baby. Anyway, I think for now, that's all I'm going to do. We finished the main story after much trial and tribulation. It was pretty good. I've already said like a lot of thoughts on it, sort of stream of consciousness style. I've ranted about other shit. I've gone on. I'm going to stop here. Thanks for checking in.